Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LEC 2025 matchup.
Or afraid of feeling ill, we don't want to make them do anything that might risk their ability to perform on stage. That is, of course, our #1 priority. #2 priority, getting into picking bans quick, and we've succeeded there. So, all right, what are we looking at here, Jack? So far, the ban shifting a little bit. Reminder, obviously, new patch, not massive changes, some small shifts. A lot of the same picks still remaining popular in terms of bans. Poppy, Phase 1 ban stands out a little bit to me, but otherwise, pretty much the same we saw as Week 1.
I would expect to maybe see some more Ashe than we saw in Week 1. I think with the new Yuntal, she should be really, really strong. And I think in general, what I want to see from both these teams is really strong early game aggression. I want to see strong lanes that can fight, and a jungler that can be proactive.
I think it's kind of the crux for both Malrang and Razork when we've seen them kind of at their best. Fnatic, of course, in both their wins last week was super, super aggressive. We got some glimmers of rogue aggression in Week 1. And then we obviously had the first game, which was a little bit slow, and we had the 60-minute game, which was very slow, but
I mean,
interestingly not slow compared to the day 1 game, actually.
It was a long, fast game.
It was a long, fast. Yeah, if that's confusing, you'll just have to go back and watch the VOD. It'll make more sense then. For now, Varus going to be the first pick. Corki does make sense. Interesting to see Varus first pick Proud here over the Corki. Week 1, it felt like the opposite. Yeah,
I'm a bit surprised. I mean, both champions have incredibly strong laning phases, so it looks like we're going to get that. They could flex the Corki into mid, but especially when they already lock in the Vi, probably the Corki's going to go bot. And that's a really good matchup to see, I think. Should be playable for both sides.
Now, though, Adam Cassante, not necessarily what you would expect from him, but certainly just a powerful champ in anyone's hands. Still really, really good, turns out. I will say the Vi already stands out to me as a champ who's going to do exactly what you said you were looking for, which is aggression, clear.
Yeah, not early game, though. She does kind of need that level 6, so that could be something that Rogue could punish, where if they play something like a Sejuani or some strong early game jungler, they could look to invade a lot. They already have a strong laner in Cassante, and Loleventvods is strong bot lane, so I think a good early game jungler would do really well for Rogue in second phase here.
Could bounce out, or, here's a crazy thought, scaling.
If they pick Kai'Sa, they get AP. That would be pretty
is
crazy.
It worth it?
Oh, wow.
Kai'Sa
I wasn't expecting that.
Locked in. Now, I'm assuming already this confirms 100% Corki into the mid lane, Kai'Sa into bot lane.
Yeah, it does. And it's a hard matchup, like most Kai'Sa matchups are, but has really good synergy with the Vi, as we saw. And I mean, this is kind of similar to the Rogue Giant X draft. So presumably, we'd expect to see Kai'Sa swap. So they're probably going to pick like Alistar or something second phase, and then look to swap to get out of this matchup early game. Unless they want to pick something that really hard counters Cassante and like kind of just tank the bot matchup so that top can have a better matchup.
Yeah, I am interested how this early game is going to look, because you called it out in the last game we saw Kai'Sa in the hands of Noah on Giant X, right? That early game was abysmal.
It was tough,
He really did not get to play the game until 1.5 items.
To be fair though, if I watched that game as Fnatic, if I'm upset, I would tell my team, Patrick can't punish on this early game leads, because he didn't get a big lead.
He didn't.
They got off 1 dive, but based on how that level 1, level 2 went, if that was a G2 or a really strong early game team, I would think Noah would be completely out.
But he wasn't. We'll see if Upset can replicate that same success here, and what the rest of this Fnatic composition is going to look like. As you highlighted, Kai'Sa probably going to need to go more towards AP. Not sure how soon we'll see that in the build path.
You'd probably want to see some more like mixed damage on top. I think if they go like, I don't know, a Jace or something on top, it would be kind of bad, because Kai'Sa does need like 3 items before she actually gets some magic damage going.
And credit to the mixed damage, right? This is clearly something Rogue have identified as well with the Rumble ban, wanting to limit, you know, there's not a lot of AP. I mean, it's pretty much just Rumble in terms of AP top laners that we see regularly. Everything else gets a little bit more niche. There's the occasional Mordekaiser or whatever.
You could lock in Gwen. It's good into Cassante. It's good into the immobile Varus, but it is more of a niche pick for sure. But I'm a big Gwen hater at the Champions League balance, so I would like to see that.
Gwen hater not because she's bad, but because you play AD carry and your life is miserable. That's fair.
She presses W, and what do I do? Either I go in and die, or I wait outside and die.
Yeah, so you think it would be a good pick, but you would hate to see it, is my understanding. Okay, there you go. Fair enough. So Rakan banned as well, taking away at least one more of the reliable engage/dive options, which again pairs really nicely with that Kai'Sa. What is the option here? Mbessa making it pretty late in the draft, but will still get picked up. We've obviously seen the Mbessa-Cassante matchup a few times now in the LEC.
Yeah, I mean, Mbessa is really nice with Kai'Sa as well, and she also can easily follow up on the Vi ult, so I like that. I do wonder a bit, though, very heavy on physical damage. Could be some, like, armor stacking coming in from Rogue if they also pick a tank jungler. They have tank support, tank top,
Hey
tank
man,
jungler.
5% buff on armor penetration this patch. Armor's bad.
But
tanks are terrible
who's gonna
now,
buy?
right?
Who's gonna buy LDR though? I guess Corki maybe, but
Whoa, Ambessa, she just has to hit level 16 and she gets a bunch of armor pen
that's
for
true.
free.
She has a
my
lot of
guy.
free armor pen. That's true.
It's a possibility.
Rogue? That is a very
Aggressive early game jungler
Yeah.
paired with the Rel. Rogue.
So
I
we
would
want
say,
to.
in terms of the formula,
Yeah.
I like what we're seeing.
We wanna
Against
see
the
some,
weaker bot lane, I mean, Fnatic have to swap now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This. Although I don't think I've ever seen Ambessa in a swap situation, to be honest.
Yeah, she seems
Really
significantly
bad.
worse than Cassante.
She could start
So,
shield, I guess.
I don't
but
know if I'm messing with the vision, so to speak, on the
strange,
side of
yeah.
Fnatic here.
They are gonna go for the. I mean, if they go for the Galio, it's a bit weird because normally you go Galio into AP because he's very strong into magic damage, but they're going into. Yeah, there's no way. It's Larson, to be
Larson,
honest. There's
control
no way he would
mage,
go Galio.
classic. And I was like this over the Galio. We did see Galio's in the hands of SK. It can be very proactive, but it
Falls off really fast.
falls off really hard.
And
Orianna,
it also
on the
just
other
doesn't
hand,
make sense into a middle, like 80 mid.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
not locking down the Kai'Sa, maybe. Ooh. A little tease, a little hover over there. But Rogue, clear identity here, some early game power, some late game scaling from the Orianna. Generally solid what they put together, but will it be standard lanes? Will it be the swap remains the question.
I think we'll just see an Alistar here. Or a Galio. So
Tempting.
Galio with Vi is very nice because she can always go in way deeper because she has the Galio ult follow through. But Alistar is like the easier option.
Galio it is.
They go for the Galio. It's a really cool combo. I think they can do a lot with it if they execute it well. And they have a, to be honest, very similar comp to the Giant X comp where they're just all diving in. They need to get that 1 CC off. And if they do, they win the team fight. If they don't, they lose it.
I mean, it can be incredibly awkward, right? It's probably hard for Orianna to ever find that clutch multi-man shockwave. But even just as you get later in the game and the shielding continues to stack up, if Upset's not ahead of the clock, doesn't have some of those strong AP items, you said it, like, right, Galio does not do enough magic damage. Early levels, sure, whatever, who cares? But as we get later in the game, you're going to need some more firepower in terms of magic damage on the side of Fnatic.
Yeah, I definitely want to see a lot of like early game aggression from Malrang. I think he should have like Prio on mid, Orianna's really strong, stronger bot lane. And I think in general, if Malrang is just trying to invade the Vi and set her behind early game, I think that's a really good win con because since how this game in general can be so tanky, he can kind of get Vi ulted and then ult himself and nobody can actually follow up.
Yeah. And best of the one exception, but even then, it'll be tricky when it's all physical damage.
Yeah.
Overall, early game might be tricky for Fnatic. A lot depends on how this lane swap plays out. But again, Ambessa probably wants standard lanes. Kai'Sa probably wants the swap. So it's a bit tricky in terms of how there's no perfect option.
I'm curious if they actually go for the swap and also like, how does it look like? Maybe they end up doing the variation we saw SK do where Oscarinen is just farming mid with Humanoid to just get level 2 and then go down to bot lane. And then it would be Mickey recalling to cover the dive. Or they just leave Oscarinen on an island and say, please don't get dove, good luck. We'll see. I think swapping is for sure for me the best game plan they could have because the win con in this draft should be Kai'Sa. You really need the Kai'Sa to have enough damage to follow up. And if you don't, then it becomes
I
hard to
respect
actually
the
make things
dance
happen.
in the face paint on a side note. Fnatic phase, of course, also here. We are just about to get in the game. There's a lot of very good questions there, Jack. For me, I just want to see exactly what we talked about, which is Malrang getting aggressive. Because the strength of Fnatic last week, and I expect it to be a strength this week too, was that early game aggression, how they push those leads. And I don't think this is a game where Rogue are going to get to sit back and take their time. So I'm hoping that instead, they can kind of be the team to set the pace. We get our first game of the day, Rogue versus Fnatic, 1-2 versus 2-1. Only 3 games into our 9-game regular season. Doesn't seem like a lot, but obviously depending on how you exit week 2, week 3 either becomes very chill or do or die. So see how these teams shape up.
Yeah, this is an interesting week because like if Rogue loses a few more games, then suddenly this feels incredibly stressful. While if Fnatic wins, it's like, you know, you're not made it through yet, but it feels pretty damn good.
3-1 feels pretty good, right? If you just win out this week, not that this week is easy by any means for Fnatic, but you're sitting pretty.
Yeah.
You locked playoffs, I'm pretty sure. 5 wins? Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
5
in.
wins lock playoffs. And it looks like, yeah, so it looks like it's going to be the swap here. We have Kai'Sa and Galio going up towards top. Probably, my prediction is Ambessa is going to be farming with Corki. A little wiggle.
No wiggle. Heck yeah. We know what the people like.
Ah, it looks like Ambessa's maybe going to farm with the Vi. instead of
Fnatic
getting
fans,
XP on mid.
I know about a caster curse, but you guys did just cheer Marek Braz's name. If he dies now, it's definitely your fault. That's all I'm saying. But he's
Because
alive.
They're matching the swap, but they're kind of late on the... Patrick is... What? This is very awkward because now Fnatic is doing a really nice play here where they can just hard push this. And Patrick will catch most of the XP, but this kind of neutralizes any advantage you would have in the lane. Because now...
I mean, level 1 is just supposed to be essentially unplayable, right?
Now Fnatic bot lane is just kind of chilling, and they should just maintain push, because they can get level 2 first as well. So, but since how he's on top side of the map, while Vi is bot side, so it's still very scary for Fnatic to fight here. It's a very interesting situation, to be honest.
A bit of an awkward exchange. Fnatic going to be fast to the level 2 here. Humanoid, as expected, at least getting push early on. The Gatling gun doing a lot of work to take control. But
very curious to see how Malrang paths here, if he wants to just match Vi's camps, or if he actually wants to try to make something happen on top. But it looks like Fnatic bot lane is just maintaining the push, but without any vision, they should start to feel scared of Sinsao and probably have to drop the push soon.
yeah, it's definitely a bit awkward. It'd be so much easier for Rogue if they had started in a neutral wave state to just zone them away, which is the power that those two champions have. Level 1, Humanoid getting aggressive on level 3 might cost him as Malrang coming around the corner. Not sure if the ward that they had, the ward they had in the jungle was already gone. Humanoid playing to the bottom side, well spotted, but a W flash goes in from Malrang. Clean mechanics flash out from Humanoid, but he's already slowed. It's a little bit awkward. He's getting walked down. That extra movement speed.
I can't reach him.
Oh, blast coming out.
W?
Oh, makes it. No, first blood. That's on you, Fnatic fans. You cursed him. That's all I'm saying. You shook the butt. You said Marek Brazda, he died. Correlation might not be causation, but you're taking the blame. Razork, though, turning it back. This one's also you, Fnatic fans, if he can find the kill. Knock up there.
Fine.
That was an incredibly awkward sequence.
I mean, I was really surprised that Humanoid...
Didn't flash the wall?
Well, also that he didn't expect the gank. I feel like Orianna's walking straight at you. Like, see here. Okay, we didn't get to see it, but Orianna's walking at you with no spells. I feel like he's kind of setting up the fact that
He can't make it to the wall.
a gank is coming.
Yeah.
So for me, I would think that Humanoid would recognize that Malrang is going to be looking, but...
And of course, you're not getting away from that last Zinzao W win becomes lightning. You're caught in the Valkyrie animation. He knows where you're going to land, so... Bit awkward.
Nice W.
Nice W, though. Credit to Malrang. You said you wanted to see that early aggression. This isn't necessarily the form I expected it to take, but it does work out as Mickey.
This is really nice by Execute holding the wave here. This should result in a decent CS lead for Varus. I don't think he can actually kill me. Oh, he's igniting. Well, I don't think he can kill him, but... Also a nice attempt.
Does definitely a nice attempt. Reset now coming in. Map in a pretty neutral state despite the Humanoid early kill. See if Malrang can kind of leverage any of the power he got from getting that first blood goal to at least clear the jungle a bit faster, be more active on the map. Has not slowed Razork down. That was one of the things you called out on Champ Select. Hasn't been able to do that. Did obviously impact his lanes, but hasn't been able to stop the Vi from quickly getting to that level 6 yet.
Yeah, I think Razork, to be honest, is pretty happy because his bot lane is not bleeding too bad, and he's actually able to just clear his camps normally. Didn't have to interact with Sinsao at all, but we got a player from Malrang.
Upset.
Probably have to use flash, but I don't think more than that.
Quick flash out.
Nice little sidestep
Yeah,
on
nice
the W.
sidestep. Well played. But even getting that flash, right, this is something we talked, like post level 6, things get a little bit easier for Upset. Mickey might try to get involved there.
But Malrang's tempo is really ruined here. He should fall behind quite a bit now. Vi just got a free recall off during this timing.
Whoa.
Well, Vi's actually going to look to...
Lane phase is rough for Adam on the
Help
bot
both
side, though, but it might not matter.
Ooh, this
Taunt
is
going in,
nice.
forcing the flash out from Patrick. Vi now coming in, the Q flash to complete. Patrick going to be in trouble here. A little bit of damage. They get the barrier at least. Summoner spells traded Patrick. Barrier
Really
keeping
good
him
flash
alive.
by Execute there. He flashed the flash prediction of Razork. It looks maybe a bit troll from Razork to just flash on the Varus. It was because he was aiming for the Rel, but the Rel actually preemptively flashes it. This is really nice.
Oh, good look topside. Right, it starts off with Upset being forced to burn flash, but they are able to turn it back.
Fnatic. This is so good by Fnatic. Varus is so sad right now. He's losing so many waves. Having to recall there.
I love that you kept your pro player voice. Where you just like inhale and speak and say,
Oh, it's like I've experienced that where it's like, you know, you're winning lane and then jungler comes and you get chunked and then you gotta recall like all the way down to your tier 2 because they just keep zoning you. Oh, it's painful.
yeah, it does hurt.
And they get the groves. Oof.
Kai'Sa's can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah, it's
Kai'Sa's
crazy.
keep making it out of lane phase unscathed.
She does have really good fighting power, but normally what you'd want is you could just kind of keep taking short trades and poking her down, but we gotta fight her on groves.
All right.
Gonna get 2 and then run out, yeah.
In terms of feats of strength, of course, Rogue did pick up first blood. You're not currently seeing it on the HUD, but they do have
It's 3
one
kills
of the 2.
now, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so HUD a little bit delayed here in terms of overall updates. So 3 kills. First
Well,
blood
maybe
was for
it
Malrang.
lights up, I think, when you get the 3 kills, maybe not? Because right now it's gray.
Oh, it's 3 kills now. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
you're right. So
And also,
closer
they didn't
closer.
get the objective because you need
Look at the
3
graphic.
grubs.
This is the homies in the thing.
Ah,
There you go.
Beautiful. Oh,
First
but it
blood,
still
now
says
it's first 3
blood.
kill. Well, you know what?
Well, you get it.
I thought they were going to bail me out of my own foolishness, but perhaps not. So closer and closer. Kind of keep you updated on the status of the HUD.
Would be fun if Patrick went Yuntal, because Double Lift has been going this like Yuntal Varus build, and it got buffed. I think it's really bad, but it's like a crit Varus build that he's.
So wait, why did you bring it up?
Because it would
Did
be
you
fun
just try to
see.
use double lift clout? To
No.
Justify
Because Yuntal got buffed, and I wanted to talk about it, but no ADC should buy Yuntal this game. It's
Okay.
like not gonna need it.
Yeah, it's not the util situation. Level 6 there. Double level 6 point and clicks. They're going to take the time. Execute. You can't get out of this. Oscar can ult to finish the kill, but he might take his time. Ult's back through. Patrick now going to be a little bit in trouble. Q available. Patrick unfazed thus far.
Let's see, Patrick.
The public execution. Place. And I mean, the difficult thing for Patrick now is he has to be incredibly careful. The next Q coming in from Razor could be death, but with no flash to extend the range.
To cancel. Tried to cancel Razor base. Good idea. This kind of feels pretty bad for Fnatic. No, I mean for Rogue, because you're actually playing like the 2v1 against Oscar and you're hoping to punish him. But a really good gank by Razor just means that one, Oscar is bailed out and he gets a kill on top of it.
And he was already doing a lot in terms of pressure. He has
Yeah.
consistently had prio over the Cassante in the early game, which again, given the amount of AoE in Abyss's kit, isn't super surprising. See if they can maintain that though, as Adam's now in trouble. The plasma stacks here are brutal. And I will say I like the appearance of Kai'Sa in a world where tanks are so strong just because of that passive. For similar reasons why I like Varus too, at least on hit.
I mean, the problem with Kai'Sa against tanks is that she's so low range and that she'd rather play fights kind of quickly with her ulti.
Yeah.
But once you get to like 5, 6 items and you get high AP numbers, you do actually start to kind of one-shot people with the enhanced W into a 5 passive proc.
Passive proc strong. Again,
Looks like Smork. Passive proc strong.
passive proc strong. Yeah, I just wanted to help, but I didn't really have anything else to contribute. So I just said the same words you did, but less of them. For effect is what I'll say. Maybe I was thinking about something else. You'll never know. Drake taken down. Okay, so 1 of 3 in terms of overall objectives. Again, for the feats of strength. As the grubs have split up, don't really count. And we're in, we said pace. We talked about big pace. We talked about how fast can Fnatic play. Rogue are needing to match that speed, but it still has been a relatively chill game. Some good looks from both sides. A lot of activity in terms of junglers getting involved in lanes, but only 2 kills when it comes down to it.
It's like medium pace, I feel like. It could have been really low pace if they just full lane swapped and didn't match each other. But because they actually matched each other, there was some 2v2 going on, some fighting, but not too much. I think overall, Fnatic are the ones more happy with this. I do like the scaling side of Larson and Patrick with their carries, but Vi getting to 6 for low free just feels so good.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. And again, the access to backline here from Fnatic can be difficult against the Cassante, the Rel, Xin, etc., but it's really not impossible when you have the Vi plus the Galio. You've got the Ambessa too. Really difficult for Rogue to protect those backline carries as we get later into the game if you do want to go for something like front to back.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to definitely see like a defensive build on Orianna with the Arcane just probably into Zonia's. And then on Patrick, probably we'll see like Shield, like Rage, what am I saying? Blade of the Ruined King into Rage Blade, into then more defensive items as well. But they are both immobile carries, so even with these tools, it shouldn't be too hard for Fnatic to find good looks.
Yeah, and I think this is a situation where, you know, the Xin, if all of Rogue's frontliners are diving in, Patrick's in a much worse position than Upset, for example, because while Upset is lower range, Kai'Sa can just go 2. Yeah, kind of the beauty of the pick. Second grubs, though, now being started.
Larson is bot, but he has TP. So they could look to contest this, but Larson needs to TP quickly. Ooh, this is a really good turn on
Malrang is just going to get one shot. Tries to buy a bit more space. Razor caught out. That ulti's still keeping alive. Mickey's going to ride, but it's a little bit too late. Execute also able to escape. It's Fnatic who've overplayed their hands, but still are going to have control of the objective for now. Humanoid needs to walk away. They're down in Bessa ult. Razor not in the fight. They should just have to concede these grubs. Good call out by Rogue. It starts off a little bit shaky, but because Malrang is able to survive, they convert it incredibly to just grabbing all of this.
Yeah, wow. That was just really well played by Malrang. It looked so close, and if he gets one shot, then it's a completely different outcome, but it ends up being 3 grubs for 3 grubs. And Rogue is pretty happy with this.
No. So
They
neither side gets the benefit or the buff towards the objective completed, I believe. But 3 for 3, not bad. You need to get all 3, I think, for it to count. Yeah.
But they both have 3, technically.
Is it per spawn? This is where I'd have to have someone double check
actually.
me.
So it looks like, I would think, Mallory is going to get one shot here. It looks like a really good turn, but they don't layer the CC chain completely perfectly. So he survives with 100 HP, and that makes such a big difference, as then it's suddenly Vi that's the one actually getting caught out, and they don't really have the damage anymore to kill anybody.
Well, and this is the other thing, just call it to Adam there as well. He's eating so much damage. Both he and Malrang kind of absorb a ton of cooldowns and are able to walk away from the fight unscathed, while the rest of Rogue are the people who kind of bring those kills home and convert the play. It's the two of them. I mean, we say creating space a bit too much now. I think it's like too much in our brains, but they make a lot of space. They just could, like, not enough damage on the side of Fnatic to finish them off, and Adam doesn't really have anything other than steel caps yet in terms of itemization.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah. 5-6 item Kai'Sa, you said it. 5-6 item Kai'Sa with a lot of AP.
Guys, just give me 15 minutes and I can kill him.
Any team could give him 50 minutes. Rogue would be that team. Has experience in that realm. But I like the aggression already. I like that Adam and Malrang were both kind of on the same page at the start of the Grubs as well. Adam was kind of, I think, generating advantages for Rogues in week 1, but was often kind of in his own way, on his own side lane, drawing a lot of attention.
Yeah, we haven't really seen like the stereotypical Adam where he's picking these really aggressive champions and doing that much. I feel like it's been more like a kind of weak side neutered Adam where he's picking a little bit of Renekton, a little bit of Cassandra, and he's still doing well, but he's not quite playmaking as much as I feel like we've been used to him seeing.
Yeah, we got a little bit in that first game versus Team Heretics. That game was weird though for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, can't really say much about that
Yeah,
one.
true. But there's at least a Garen in there, as now Oscar's trying to pull back.
Adam looks for the
2v2, a lot of burst damage here. I think Adam just dies. Yep. Okay, a bit of a miscalculation there. Malrang's caught up as well. A bit of revenge for the previous play. This time Razork and Oscarinen were ready. Turns out completing their items.
You can see what Adam was looking for there. He was trying to get the Cassandra W into the ulti over the wall into tower. It's like classic Cassandra cheese. But once you don't get that, now you're a Cassandra without W, your biggest defensive tool, and you just get one shot. And then Sinsao without flash, also one shot. It's a disaster. They get first tower as well.
I mean, you hit all those cooldowns too, and the thing is, in the previous play, you were eating those cooldowns, you walked away alive, and then the rest of your team got to fight without the fear of those two ultimates. This was not the case this time around. 1.5k gold lead for Fnatic. 3 kills completed in terms of the feats of strength. Tower now coming through as well. Bit of extra movement speed. Our HUD this week is showing the updated boots.
Here. I think he might catch Patrick and execute. Oh my goodness.
That's maybe not the ideal title. Mickey has now been spotted. The flanker has become the flanked. Mickey in trouble, but the aftershock is still ticking. It's going to buy him a bit more space. Not enough to keep him standing, though. Upset goes to the team. That's absolutely not what you want. Upset!
Patrick flash Q.
Okay.
He listened.
Did listen. Middle there, big.
Both ADCs, they're kind of...
The upset haters are confused. They know that was questionable, but the copy pasta doesn't work, so they're not sure what to put on Reddit. But I like the aggression again. Fnatic, aggressive as we expected in week 1. The question was, what were we going to do when someone contested them? I did not expect that team to be Rogue, but Rogue are contesting them. They were super close to finding that flank like you talked about, but the second they spotted Mickey, they did a really good job converting.
I liked the Mickey flank, but I feel like Razork wasn't really looking to follow it up. It looked a little bit more like Razork here is trying to start the Drake. Like he walks away from Mickey, or he's not trying to start the Drake, he's just kind of scared, but he's not in range now to follow Mickey up. And Upset's like, we gotta go, we gotta go. And we also gotta go here.
We gotta go back to see if Larson can get out of this one. The answer is no! This is the no counterplay to
Didn't see the Galil.
Mickey from the sky with the steel chair. He wasn't even needed. He just came for the assist.
From downtown, baby.
And I will say, look, this Fnatic composition, they're doing what it's supposed. This is what it's supposed to do on paper. When you see this in draft, this is the thing. If you see that on the enemy team that you're scared of, and Fnatic are doing the thing. Now Oscar also level 11, so ticking up more healing, more armor penetration, which is going to make Adam's life more difficult, and now potentially the dive as well.
You got the Corki TP.
Q3 and the Cassandra W is big. Though. Well, this is the thing. They got the W out early, so...
Gets the flash. I mean, they're going to get the tower. They don't have a wave. Oh, they're going to get the tower, I think. Yeah. That dies pretty fast. I mean, it's TP for a tower. Feels pretty good for Fnatic, but it is going to give the Herald over to Rogue. What I do really like from Fnatic here, though, is after they make kind of a bad play on the Drake and give it up, they just immediately go back into it, you know? They don't... A lot of teams, when they make a bad play, they don't sulk, but they take their time to actually make another play. While Fnatic, really fast on the trigger, make another play, keep the proactivity up, keep the aggression up, and it's nice.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that teams, you highlighted, struggle to do, right? So you lose a little bit of confidence, you lose your place on the map when you do go back
Then you have
to
your
Fountain,
support
that gray
sitting and it's
screen.
like, guys, what's next objective?
Hard
And
to keep
nobody
focus.
answers.
I think the question now for Rogue, though, they're still at a massive goal deficit. What are they going to do with this Herald? And what does the setup for Otacon look like? I've confirmed it is Voracious
They have
Otacon
4 people up
spawning,
here.
but Humanoid.
They're using the Herald like this? This is a bit strange.
Should be able to just break this tower.
Yeah, but you usually don't use Herald for tier 1 on sides.
Are they
You'd rather use it for mid.
Are they close to item completion? Are they hoping just a little bit more gold gets them over the threshold?
I don't know, but they're cooking a bit. Now their tempo is a bit ruined. I don't want to be too negative, but I think this is kind of bad.
Well,
They do get the tower,
certainly not the strongest use of Herald, right?
Yeah.
At the very least. And now someone is going to need to respond to Oscar and the game.
but the thing is usually
Lost.
you want to...
It is an audio issue on stage, so unrelated to Herald. Sir, in the 60-minute game, which obviously is the one we're going to keep bringing up because it's the one that we cast, and also I think one of the most memorable games of the season so far were just that
game.
knife's edge, right? They
Yeah.
were so close. But again, it is Voracious Otacon. Reminder, if you're completely new to Otacon, he gives you fake GA buff, so when you die for the next 2.5 minutes, you go back to spawn after a couple seconds, and then you're just right back on the map. So you still go back to base if you have TP. That graphic was really quick. But the only change that matters to all of you who know what Voracious Otacon does is now you get 200 gold if you're the enemy team playing against that buff and you do successfully kill but not kill your opponent. So bit more of a reward for the team facing that buff. Does not stop how insanely powerful that buff is, though.
Yeah, and I want to bring up something completely different. Kaisa build, very interesting. I would expect to see Static Shiv because you want to get more magic damage, but he went for Kraken Slayer, which is, you know, a lot more physical damage, and he's probably going to go Rage Blade second and then Nashor third, which means that until you really get third item, you're going to be doing pretty much only like physical damage nearly, and you see on the side of Rogue, tabby. I mean, play the steel cap, sorry. Play the steel cap nation.
I don't know what that was, but we're just going to pretend that didn't happen and move on with our lives. All right, plated steel caps. You can just call them Tabby. You don't have to apologize. Like, the balance team isn't going to come.
Well,
I'm sure that most of them are just different now.
well, they're
too.
broke.
They're broken. They're strong. Unending Despair, too. The Arm Guard as well. I think the good news for Fnatic in terms of team fighting damage output is you have double Black Cleavers at the very least. So
They don't stack though.
they don't stack. No. But, well, they do stack, but they don't stack. You're not getting double value, but you can't stack
That would be
faster.
crazy. If you
That
had double
would
value.
be insane. Like, we had basically had that situation back in Season 3.
True, you could literally stack them in your inventory.
Stack,
no? Yeah.
just stack
League of Black Cleavers.
So at least they're mitigating some of the upfront armor, but
Yeah.
it's not going to mitigate the value of second item Zhonya's, of more armor items coming for Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the second item Zhonya is from Larson. I think for me, if I'm Fnatic right now, the only real engaged target I have is kind of Patrick, because it's going to be really hard to get onto this Orianna. If Vi ults her, she Zhonya's. If you go on Sin, he ults. If you go on Kazanta, I mean, that's a nightmare. So we'll see how Patrick plays these fights.
Option going to be set up around the Drake, seems to be the focus for Fnatic. Humanoid catching top, but backing away, ready to TP if needed.
It's going to be a free Drake for Fnatic here. Not really any cross map happening either on Rogue's side though. They just put down some vision topside for the Otacon spawn. And I'm probably going to look to push out bot here with Orianna so that they can have first move from bot all the way to Otacon. It's going to be kind of the goal.
I mean, and we've seen kind of how, based on how strong Otacon is, I could see sacrificing an objective to get vision set up on Otacon.
But this is so strange from Rogue because they're not actually pushing out bot. And now they lost all their vision topside, or most of their vision. And Orianna is in a weird position where she's now matching the Mbessa, so she can't walk up for waves. You can see Mbessa's just getting every wave. Kind of a missed opportunity here from Rogue. I would want to see them to get that deep push, just escort Orianna, or have Kazanta bot. And that way, I mean, they are swapping now.
Does anyone answer Mbessa on side at this point in the game, though? That would be my question to the top lane enthusiasts out there. Because you've got 20% passive armor pen from ranks in your ulti. You've also got Black Cleaver. You have Sustain because of your ulti. And while Kazante is certainly very, very tanky, and
I've seen Kazanta
ults,
do things
that's
that
true.
should not be done.
That's true.
But I don't think he'll match Mbessa, no.
Just a reminder, never forget he is still Kazante.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Don't forget. Any other champion with that inventory might not look too scary, but Cassandra does.
Go. Unending Despair, I guess, does balance out some of the healing discrepancy. Fnatic, though, setting up around the objective. This is...
You can see how good setup they have. They have full control.
And this is so awkward because, again, the thing that Rogue traded when we talk about cross maps, even though it wasn't a traditional cross map, was control of topside, which they've now immediately conceded the next time that Fnatic had mid push. So it is just a bit of an awkward sequence from Rogue. Now they're finally getting bot push,
And
but there's no objective.
A lot of these like more mid-tier teams or lower table teams, a lot of them, they struggle with like lane assignments. So this was like a prime example where they weren't able to get the deep push going bot because Orianna can't play against Mbessa, and they lost push top because Corki wins against Cassandra. So you put yourself in a situation where you have two losing sides, so no matter where the support jungle goes, they're just sitting there like, oh, what do we do now?
A bit of brute forcing happening through mid, though. 5 members here from Rogue.
Yeah, but...
I mean, it's just awkward because they have pushed there for a second, but Execute doesn't actually have any wards, so they don't really get much vision down. It's still not easy for Fnatic to thread through Otacon. It's still risky to start it.
The problem now is that the cycle will repeat itself. Oscarinen will get a deep push on bot, then someone on Rogue will have to catch bot, and then Fnatic will get full control of Otacon again, and I could see that this time is where they actually choose to start this Otacon up.
I mean, TPs, sums, everything's up and available. Checking item completions. I mean, 2 items.
Got him some hours, huh?
For Rogue.
Oh.
Fnatic haven't gotten the reset yet, I assume, to spend their money.
Yeah, I mean, upset should be close. He's on 400 gold, but I would presume that soon he can sell his refillable and get his Rage Blade going as well.
Maybe he can upgrade and get the Gunmetal Greaves. Your favorite item.
Oh, yeah. I hope he doesn't get that.
The hatred in your voice just brings me a little bit of joy. So Fnatic, again, I think first to the area. Now maybe we're in a situation where once Baron spawns, we see kind of the classic where Fnatic aren't so far ahead that they can just force the objective, but they might be able to start it first and at the very least get a TP out of Rogue, play the incremental advantage game of League of Legends. Not the explosive game we were expecting, even though there was a little bit more aggression.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be kind of this like slow standoff trying to gain some sort of priority on the Otacon, but it's really hard for either team to really start it, and kind of both teams are just fishing for a pick, because all you need is 1 kill, and then you kind of feel, okay, we can start the Otacon now. But if you don't get that armor pen on it, and the magic pen, and just the damage the Otacon does, is just too scary.
I mean, it's we saw in the G2 BDS game is a great example where Nuke gets that shockwave onto 4 people, and you might have been surprised by how much damage it did, but a big part of that was the Otacon debuff, which is just shredding that MR. So by the time it does connect, even though he's, I can't exactly recall, I think 2.5 items, maybe 2-item Orianna. It looks like he's a 4-item Orianna.
I remember actually, it was this exact Orianna build. It was Archangel Sonius. You'd think he'd do like peanut damage, and then he's just one-shotting them.
Yeah, it turns out when the enemy has no MR, any build will hit like a truck. Yeah. So have to respect the Otacon debuff. I don't think Otacon himself or itself does that much damage, compared to some other objectives. But
really, I think it does the most.
I mean, it does a good amount. But I mean, it's like you're fine if you have a tank.
I mean, Nash does more, I guess.
My concern is the armor shred. I think is the point I'm getting to. The armor and MR shred.
Yeah.
Now, again, classic. It's Rogue fighting for a turn as AD carries battle for mid prio, which Forest would win in a lot of circumstances, but Patrick kind of just threw a poke arrow.
Yeah, we got the Drake spawning, and Fnatic have full control over it. Mickey's on a bit of a crazy flank here.
Trying to back away, taunt there, extra slow from Celestial opposition. They can't just chase him down. Oh. Taking their time. Cross map coming from the rest of the team. They're starting up the Drake. Mickey now trying to ult out to safety, and he's out!
And they get the Drake.
Harold Houdini. We're not going to say planned because Rogue now have first access to Otacon and all of Fnatic are a mile away. This could be a big problem.
They only use the Rel ult, and it's a 4v5. And Bess is basing and needs the TP. They might be able to finish this before...
You're right, Otacon does a ton of damage, I'm wrong.
Okay, but there are 5 people hitting it.
Rogue grouped, trying to keep the fight going. Excellent use of the shockwave. Combo from Malrang and Larson. That old synergy coming back. But now Otacon resetting. Bit awkward here. Razork still in the area. All of Rogue trying to zone him away. Carry's still there. Smite still there from Malrang. Taking their time trying to shred through Adam. Adam W is...
buffer.
Able to buffer out. Objective going to get taken down. Now the withdraw coming through right in the nick of time. That's infuriating for the side of Fnatic. They're going to catch Razork out as well. Rogue. I mean, they paved the road to victory for themselves with this buff. Let's see what else they can get. Baron certainly first on the table, and now Fnatic desperate to get anything back. Just want to shove these waves, get anything they can to stop the Baron Otacon combo from turning everything against them.
Malrang is back, baby. That was a beautiful turn.
That was excellent.
Oh, they're trying to
Going
contest.
Oscar in on the backside. They're trying to send Adam backpacking.
Upset does no damage. What's this
Upset
Cassandra
does
jam?
not do any damage. No one is there to shred the armor for him.
He just did 15 autos to this Cassandra.
TP in, it's a little bit late. Baron is already down. Humanoid running. Recalls coming in.
That's a bit of a like desperation turn, because they didn't want a desperation contest. Because at first, after this fight, Upset's going mid. Okay, let's see the actual fight. Oh, such a good turn.
It's just a good combo.
Yeah.
He just laid on the Valk out. He had flash.
Yeah.
By the time that first piece of CC hits, it's over, of course, but you
can't
kind of
really
hope.
flash it, because it's
Yeah,
just
that's
the auto
the
attack
Q3
from
auto.
the Tinsao. You need to just be out of range or flash like preemptively. And really good space creation here by Adam as well to keep Razork out. And then it looks like Fnatic just wants to drop the Nash. They just go mid. And I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna drop the Nash. But then they still decide to contest. But now Upset's like kind of far away from Mickey. And then look at the Cassandra jump. Why he doesn't take damage?
He does take damage. It takes a long time, and he shields more than 4 Upset auto attacks.
Actually, if Upset auto and then ult for the auto reset, he could kill him. But I mean, it wouldn't even kill him without the combat.
You can send him back to base and get your 200 gold consolation prize. Okay, well, good news for Fnatic is there's 800 gold worth of GA buffs that could be picked up. Bad news is enemy has Baron and 800 gold worth of GA buffs, so...
Yeah. Curious to see how much Rogue can get with this Nash and Atakan.
I mean, we talked about Fnatic as being the team that was really good at pushing their leads. Now Rogue are the ones in control, and we'll have to see if they can replicate the same success that Fnatic had in week 1 and really push this to its limit. Because if we do just go back to scaling and sitting back, Fnatic will be able to at least get into a much more favorable situation. This is about as bad as it could possibly get.
For me, if I'm Rogue, my definition of success with these 2 objectives is getting an inhibitor. I really want to break an inhibitor in 1 lane, and if I can do that, that means I use the buff well. If we're only getting tier 2s with both Atakan and Nash, I feel like it's a bit too little.
A bit awkward. Gonna need to see the team really push the limit, right? Get aggressive if they need to. Adam and Larson both have TP, so you can't have the situation where they return to the fight.
They are basing here. I mean, they're gonna look to... it looks like it's only gonna be playing for 2, like all 3 tier 2s, because now they're gonna rotate. They're going to put a person on mid, they're going to put 4 people bot, they're going to get this tier 2 on bot.
And they get Dragon as an exit play, which at least gets them something.
And it's not bad, it's a big gold injection, but I think like when you have both of these buffs, I want to see a dive. I want to see the game break open, you know? Take some risks. It's Rogue time.
It was also tough because Rogue are now setting up on mid. Bot is pushed in so far because no one was there to contest Oscar, because again, they're setting up that play topside ready to force if they need to. And now I don't even know if that wave is going to hit tower.
They might not even be able to play for tier 2 bot because Oscar got that deep push. Would have wanted to see someone go bot beforehand. Now Adam wants to base and catch this top wave against Corki, because Corki has a bit faster tempo. It's a bit awkward. Doesn't look like they'll play for the tier 2.
And this is why I feel like one of the best things you can do if someone ever has, I mean Baron generally, but certainly Otacon Baron, is just deep shove in whatever lane you're not contested in, just to cut off or slow down at least 1 lane that the team can play around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder how like crazy teams will be with this buff by the end of the split. Once they have had more time to like test it out, to figure out the limits. Because, I mean, in theory,
I feel like you should play it a bit like an Elder, in the sense that you should be willing to take plays that you never normally would. Like, go for that dive. Go for that play, you know?
Especially when you've already taken Baron, because there's nothing on the map the enemy team can meaningfully get back.
Even if you send 5 people to base, okay, they get to out-push waves. They don't even get anything.
We'll see. The teams get more aggressive. We've seen kind of the full, I would say, spectrum of potential Otacon buffs, or voracious Otacon buffs, because we've never really seen the other one. Which is, you know, we've seen the instant game end with Baron, and we've seen kind of it do very little.
Yeah.
At the least, you still keep the permanent 40 additional gold per kill buff.
Yeah. This is going to be Fnatic cross-mapping the Drake here. Don't think they can play for tier 2. Adam is a bit too tanky.
I also just think this is the part of the game where it gets a bit more difficult. Patrick is going to get tankier, still has the on-hit build, so still going to do a lot of work on the tanking line. The good news is Upset has the AP you were talking about. Bad news is Larson has a death cap.
It feels pretty good to be Rogue right now, I think, because you can just keep stacking armor. Like, even your ADC can buy armor, your mid can buy armor. Everybody can buy armor, you know?
Yeah, this is a tricky one to navigate side of Fnatic.
I don't think they really want to go for team fights at this point. I think you kind of want to look for picks with
and
like
I mean, you have the tools, right? We saw that was their entire
pick on
mid-game
side,
plan.
like Kai'Sa pushes mid, moves to bot, like we saw Noah do. would be really nice from him. And just kind of looking for these like isolated, small skirmishes, not really big team fights. Because Cassandra's not dying right now.
It's also tough because all it takes is one member of Rogue, other than probably Execute, to misstep for that kind of play to work, which does, I wouldn't say makes it favoring Fnatic, but everyone on your team not falling prey to that single mistake, to that single misposition is a tall task for any 5 players.
You can see Fnatic was looking for that play as Kai'Sa tried to go bot and Corki caught the mid wave, but Adam is playing well.
Just look at this 3-man
fully respecting.
They're just roaming. Good reset.
Also important to note that Corki did buy the LDR, which is buffed, so it's 40% now. That is a lot of percentage pen.
A lot of pen.
They got a lot
Black
of armor as well,
there.
you know.
Yeah, this is an interesting. I mean, it's just weird because we know, like, the general consensus, I feel, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, you play more solo queue than I do. Tanks are OP. That seems to be, even if people aren't playing them as much. And Fnatic seem to really be trying to support the balanced team and the idea that 5% armor pen is the difference, is enough. At least with the composition.
Let's see how much damage they do to Adam.
The answer is not a lot, but they might be able to do a lot of damage to Patrick. Instant combo going in. Mickey trying to buy a bit more space. Oscar in relatively untouched. Humanoid now free to follow up. Rogue already lost the fight. All it took. No one really even had to be out of position. They just needed to get in range, and Fnatic were able to find that pick. But now the turn. Adam's still ready to go all out. His damage about to fade away. Execute. This is not the angle you're looking for, but Larson also using Shockwave there.
We're gonna look to start the Nash. They don't have Orianna ult, don't have any ult other than Rel.
Flash from Mickey. Flash backwards Justice Punch maybe to try and catch somebody.
Since I was not here, I don't think they can do much. They're gonna have to drop the Nash.
And again, we said this a minute ago. If they find the pick, I expected it to be isolated member pushing side. I did not expect it to be a single kill in the context of a 5v5.
Patrick, come on. Your tank isn't taking any damage. Why are we walking up? It's a really nice engage by Fnatic, but when your tank is this tanky, you need to let him create that space. Let him tank for you. You know, you can't just walk up, then you're gonna die.
Baited perhaps into a false sense of security, seeing how little damage Adam took. Now has a few more tanky items of his own on the side of Patrick.
It's a classic, to be honest, when you start to get like tank items like he has on Varus, that you think to yourself, oh, I'm tanky now, I'm strong. But then, you're not tanky, buddy.
Not tanky.
You're getting one shot.
Harsh realization. Upset now level 16, almost to that death cap. A bit more money, but has the components. And this is where, I mean, the thing is you have to hit the Kai'Sa W, but like, the poke is just going to be so difficult for them to deal with, and they don't really have the range to match. Not that I think Upset on his own is enough poke to zone Rogue off of objectives, but it is going to force their hand at least a little bit, as for now, they're trying to defend the tier 2 bot side.
Kai'Sa W is starting to hurt a little bit more. It's still not monumental, like you said, but they're going to get a lot of gold with this Nash buff, and they might even be able to get Kai'Sa onto that Rabadon, and then her damage really goes crazy.
All right, tier 1, tier 2 in mid lane. They're still tier 2 top side, and this tower with just a blinking health bar. Oscar still probably, I think, you know, doesn't want to play for another wave because the rest of the team is backing away, even though they'd probably be able to take the tier 2, don't want to risk overextending and getting caught. Any one of them dies, you probably lose the remaining minute and 20 seconds of this Baron buff.
It does feel a bit bad, though, that they're not able to break that tier 2 bot, because now they have to kind of ask themselves, do we go back to bot? Do we try to go top?
They don't need to.
Yeah, but you're kind of sad about that, too, because now you don't get the local gold, and it's like 500 gold. So, it'll be a negative Nancy, but
I think you might be a negative Nancy.
When you see tower local gold go to waste, it hurts a man.
Look, you know, Upset already had the death cap, doesn't need it. Donation to the cannon minion is what we'll say.
That's true. I mean, they're on 4 items on Ambessa, Corki, and Kai'Sa. That's kind of crazy.
Adam gonna spot Razork. Razork was not gonna push his cooldowns on Adam, but they might now.
He's just dead.
Chain CC, Adam likely to burn here, still living for an additional second. Now the turn coming back, Larson doing everything he can in his power. The shockwave already came out, but so many blinking health bars locked up. Another connection from the Varus ultimate. Humanoid retreating, Oscar retreating.
Really good save by Execute, but actually end up resulting in anything. The soul for Fnatic here.
They're willing to contest.
They have an Ambessa TP flank from behind. It's a really good flank from Mickey here.
TP in. He ready to go over the wall. Could just come down to the 50-50. Kemso will be big in a game like this. Ulti right onto Patrick. Immediate combo going through. Upset knows that Larson has no shockwave, but he is not a threat. Oscar keeping the damage coming out. Patrick really just can't auto any target. He's just not in range. He can't get anything done. The entire team is split. The bar is unable to do anything. The carries isolated, taken out of the equation, but at the very least, Maorang will steal the Drake with the fight. Oh, they can't steal that one back. That one belongs to Fnatic.
Are they gonna end? They have a both wave.
TP bot.
But Larson TPs.
Good read from Larson.
Clear the wave. They have one more wave coming. Only caster minion. I don't think they can end. Wait, 40 seconds? Actually. It's gonna be close. I'm trying to like calculate it.
Let us know when you reach a conclusion, Mr. Spectra.
I think they might be able to end.
I think they might be able to end too. Wave on the way in.
It's gonna be really close though.
20
Larson
seconds.
has ulti,
Execute.
but Rastor also has ulti. He has no flash, no Sonias either.
Ball place. Larson staying just on the edge of the range. Could just ult the wave, but then I think you lose the ensuing fight.
It's too hard.
Flash in. Larson locked up. Double ulties once again. The Vi, the Ambessa together doing too much work, but Razork about to fall to the tower. Execute still here? 10 seconds, 6 seconds. No, there's no way. Humanoid just needs to hit the objective. Execute doing everything he can in his power, and in the end, Fnatic coming out on top. 3-1. Taking down Rogue.
GG.
An exceptionally odd game.
Yeah,
Rogue
I
winning.
thought Rogue won
Got
that
double
fight.
buff, and then they